Okay, welcome back to this module. Today we're going to talk about an introduction to SPSS and our data set a little bit. So here is a hard copy of our survey. I hope you guys went and looked at this while it was up. It is still up, collecting data. But we're going to cut it down for right now. We got 100 participants from our sample size and you guys taking the survey, so that's great. And we're going to go ahead and look at this now in the next few weeks. The purpose of this survey was basically to ascertain information-seeking behaviors, and I want to correlate that highly with seeking information about possessing a firearm. So I want to see if people go online to look up stuff on like Google or on their social network in relation specifically to firearms, but to do that I asked if they did it with large purchases and small purchases as well, and then ask the same question about firearms to see if they basically consider that to be a large or small purchase. So that was the thought behind this survey, and those what the first three pages really address. 4 pages is that information seeking online, both in search engines and in social networks. Then there's this other scale, which is called a political violence scale, that says certain statements and you answer how much you agree on a scale of 1 to 7 with the statement. I've worked with this scale in the past. I'm still continuing to work with it. I just threw it in here for fun, not really any theoretical reason. It just gives us something to work with and play with, a little bit more data, and we can work with it a little bit. Notice this last question on the political violence scale actually asks for content that is opposite of the rest of the questions. So if people answered 7 on the rest of the questions except for the last one, then they would have been saying they should use violence to get their way politically. They agree with that statement. If they answered 7 on this last one, they said that they should not use violence to express their feelings. This is called a reverse coding situation, so it's to keep people on their toes. So we will have to go and fix that in our data so that we'll just switch around the numbers. So if a person answered 7, then it'll show up as a 1, so that we can keep it the same and it'll actually work when we create our scale. Then I have some demographic information, so you can see that there, and that'll be good to work with a little bit too. So when I download this, it actually pops up as an Excel spreadsheet. As you can see, organized in Excel, the variables, the questions are across the columns, the tops, and the rows are individual instances of participants answering. So there's a little bit more data than, like, we don't want the timestamp. And we'll have to fix a few things, like right here's a blank cell, so we'll have to figure out what to do with that. And there's the issue where we need to reverse code that variable. And as you can see here, there were a lot of different answers for country of residence that indicated the same country. So we'll have to go and do something about that as well. So to get an Excel spreadsheet in SPSS open is pretty simple. So this is just the opening dialog box. Unless you have this one ticked, this checkbox ticked, then this won't show. But for most people, if you open up SPSS, this is the first thing that pops up. You can just open it by clicking More Files. And as you can see here, it is only looking for save files, SPSS files. If you want to load up an Excel spreadsheet, it's as simple as just showing Excel files, and then we'll go and find, sorry, that's the wrong folder. We'll go and find our survey right there. Wait a second. Yeah, you can check variable names. They're in the top row. That's the entire worksheet. If you want to load in different worksheets, like it'll only load one sheet at a time, so you'll have to go and do that manually. So you get data up, and there's our data in SPSS. Now you can see there's a lot of issues with the variable names not being the same, missing data again, that's easier to see, that's the one, and everything's just the same. So we'll go in and fix this. The file that I've actually uploaded for you has the variable names all fixed. There's a few transformations that we need to do in the variable, but we'll go ahead and open up the file that I gave to you now. You should have downloaded it from Dropbox, but there it is. Okay, so this is the file. I'm going to close this data set real quick. Alright, so here's the file. As you can see, I've got variable names loaded in. There's a few transformations and fixes we need to make with the data, but we'll go through that in the next few minutes. If you have any questions about what a variable name is, what it indicates, I've also distributed a code book which has the variable names, the particular question that was asked on the survey, as well as what the values are in the answers. You can also look in the variable view to find out what the answers mean and what they're coded to. And we'll need to fix these and change it up a little bit, and we can do that here right now, starting actually. So the first issue I want to focus on is this country type of issue. So there's a lot of different answers for the same country. Like I know there's one for the United Kingdom that says just UK in lowercase. There may be a few that says UK in uppercase. We want that to say just United Kingdom. And for instances of the United States, we want to just have it say United States. So let's focus on changing this one real quick, this USA. It's fairly simple. You just need to go into transform, recode into same variable, select our variable, move it over. We can go old and new values. And then if a person typed USA, we want to change it to United States. Click on add and continue. Okay. And as you can see, it changed that one value, excuse me. So you need to go in and change all of these. I'll let you do that on your own time rather than me walking through every permutation of the variables, but just try to make sure that each country is represented by one value, and we'll check that the next module. So let's change this PV11 real quick. Remember, we need to recode this variable. It's exactly the same type of process as recoding the United States variable. But we just need to input the values a little bit differently. So if they answered 1, we need it to be 7. We'll go add 2 to 6, 3 to 5. 4 stays the same because that's in the middle. And 5, we want 3, 6 to 2, and 7 to 1. Click continue, okay, and it's done. So now our data has been recoded. If any of you have worked with scales like this before, the first step in evaluating a scale is to compute the Chromebox alpha, the reliability of the scale. So we'll go ahead and do that real quick. It's really easy in SPSS, a little bit harder on paper. So you just go to Analyze, Scale, Reliability Analysis. Select your scale. You can do that very easily, selecting a big group by just selecting the first, shift clicking on the last, and that'll select all of them in between. We'll move that over. As we can see, we got the alpha. That is the item that we want. There's other items you can select there, but we'll go with the alpha. And there it is. The Chromebox alpha of our scale is 0.856. That's pretty decent. Not horrible by any means. So we'll go ahead and compute the scale. So we'll do this just by going to transform compute variable. And we want to change the name to Paul_violence real quick. We'll change the label as well so we can help keep track of it. Okay. So how you compute most scales is by the mean, the average of all of them. And there's actually a built-in function in SPSS that allows us to do this really easily. So you can just go down to statistical in the function group, or all will allow you to find mean as well. It's just a little bit further down in the list right there. But if you know where it's at, it's in statistical. We can just go mean. Then you can move variables over just by double clicking on them, and we need to have a comma in between each value. So I like to do this where I double click, then put in a comma. You can also select them all and then put in the comma in between after they're all up there in this box. After you're done, we'll just delete those question marks. There's commas in between them all. And I just did it, so we'll go over here. See skis, scroll all the way over to our right. There's our political violence variable. That is the scale put together. Okay, so that's the end of this module. I want you to go ahead and compute the country values and make sure that it's one instance for each country that is represented in there. So just look through, see what you can come up with. Change all the United States, things that represent the United States to the United States. Anything representing the United Kingdom, go ahead and change to the United Kingdom. You may have some funny ones like this, or there's another one down here as well like that. Those represent America. CA is an abbreviation, I do believe, for California. So you can go ahead and change that to the United States as well. So go ahead and do that, and we'll check that with our descriptive statistics in the next module. So go ahead and do that, and I will see you on the flip side.